Hello and welcome to Rio Tinto Stadium in Sandy, Utah, where tonight Major League Rugby is in Utah for the first time ever. It's the Utah Warriors in their first game ever against the Glendale Raptors, and it is a beautiful night for rugby. I'm Jeremy Jordan alongside Justin Nadald. Man, we're excited to be here. Major League Rugby is new in the United States, and tonight the Utah Warriors debut. This is an exciting time for rugby in the United States.
It's a big deal. There's been a couple of other professional leagues that have kind of come up and haven't really totally worked out. So it really is an exciting time. And for the Warriors, they're a brand new team. The interesting thing is going to be to see them go up against probably the best team in the league for the very first game. I mean, it's going to be fun to watch.
Glendale, extremely organized. We'll talk about them in a moment. But the Utah Warriors, the inaugural game tonight, this is a team that's been in the works for a few years, as has this league. Highly Polynesian, very talented, a lot of foreigners, some locals, BYU and Utah guys. This is a team that could challenge, maybe in year one for the championship, a team like Glendale. We'll see how they develop.
Yeah, I agree. I think talent-wise, the Utah Warriors have the kind of, these guys who grew up in rugby-playing countries, and that makes a big difference. The interesting thing is going to be to see how well they come together. They've only been together for a few short months, so what happens, how quickly does it happen, and to what degree can they pull off what the coaches have in mind for them?
Paula CK, a former NFL player, of course, national championships at BYU, played BYU football. He's on one side. Then you have the Glendale Raptors. This is a team that has its own stadium, the only rugby-specific stadium in the United States out of the Denver area. Very organized. In fact, this might be the most organized club in the United States. They've been playing for a while together. They're well put together.
They are. And, I'm really good friends with Kimball Kerr. He is the general manager of the Warriors. I know over the last couple of years, he spent a lot of time in Glendale. And all the people that were trying to put together Major League Rugby and the local team, they're kind of modeling what they're going to do after what Glendale has done.
Sure.
Stadium's beautiful. They're organized. They're funded. Everything's taken care of. And so if the other teams in the league can become like that, that's kind of the goal. That'd be nice.
I dare say that Glendale might be the favorite going into the beginning of the Major League Rugby season. 7 teams in the league, spanning all the way from New Orleans to Seattle and San Diego and Austin and Houston. Lots of talent scattered across. Rugby United New York will become the 8th team next year.
Yep.
And then potentially 2 to 4 more teams. This league is ready to grow in its inaugural season already.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think they've decided to model what they're going to do after what MLS did, and the way that was structured, the way the league owns the teams, whatever the ins and outs are, and I think that's wise. I think they're going to model it after something that's already worked. We're not going to reinvent the wheel, and we're not going to start with 20 teams. Let's start with a few and grow. So it'll be fun to watch.
There's already a TV deal with CBS Sports Network for a game of the week, ESPN over the top on the app. That's big time to have TV deals already in place, local deals, of course, to stream tonight on the YouTube channel for the Utah Warriors and on Facebook. But that's just the beginning, and the season's about to begin. The excitement level's here. There's a buzz in the stadium right now as people are piling in for the inaugural game here.
Yeah, there's no question. And a lot of these people have been here for rugby games before. There have been multiple collegiate national championships played here and some other local events. So the local rugby community, they're used to it. They're excited about it. I think everybody's kind of anticipating what's going to happen at the pro level. How much better is this competition going to be? How much better is the talent going to be? Including myself. I can't wait to see how this unfolds.
Good rugby has been played in these parts for a long time. Of course, Highland, the most well-known high school club in the country. They've made a movie after Highland, of course. BYU with many national championships, like you mentioned, in this stadium. Utah's been fantastic. High Polynesian population in this area. So this is a great spot for not only the headquarters of the league, but a team, and here we are with the Utah Warriors.
Yeah, there's no question. I mean, high school-wise, United down in Utah County has been national championship a few times. Snow Canyon in St. George. So we've got all the way from southern Utah up here to the Wasatch Front. And like you mentioned, the collegiate teams have been wonderful. So this is just a natural progression of what has been built here, and the foundations have been laid for 30-plus years.
BYU, Utah, some local communities now here with the Utah Warriors. And this matchup with Glendale is going to be a fun one tonight. We'll break it down much more coming up in a second. But let's go down to the field where we have a special presentation. The Utah Pipe Band, the oldest continuously organized Scottish bagpipe band in the western United States, is going to entertain us. And then we're going to have a national anthem here in a minute as the kids' procession comes out. We'll get to the starters in a moment. And a fun storyline on the other side with Glendale is Sean Davies, a former BYU scrum half, a former roommate of mine, frankly, is the scrum half for Glendale. He will be the number 9 on that side. And the Utah Pipe Band about to come out, followed by the national anthem, and then kick off here on the YouTube channel and the Facebook channel for the Utah Warriors. They were warming up earlier. They sounded fantastic, and here they come. Justin, the only issue with doing this in the first game is now we expect it every game.
Well, yeah.
Please welcome to the pitch.
Expectations will be high.
Led by the reserves, followed by the starters. We'll get to those in a moment. Glendale in the yellow shirts with blue trim and blue shorts. And the Utah Warriors in the black and red.
Jerem, I've got chills right now. What do they say, chicken skin? I've got whatever they call it.
And now, if you would all please rise and you can help us honor the country, singing the national anthem from season 4 of The Voice, Mr. Ryan Ennis.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Mr. Ryan Ennis. You can get his new album. It drops April 13th, called The In-Between. Thank you, Ryan.
Ryan Innes, fantastic way to start things with the Utah Pipe Band and Ryan Innes. And here we go. Let's go over the starters for the Glendale Raptors. 1-0 in exhibition play so far. Let's go 1 to 15 here. Blake Rogers and Felipe Fifita are the props. Zach Finoglio is the hooker. The locks, Casey Rock, fantastic name for lock. Ben Landry, the other one. Connor Cook and John Quill are the flankers. Peter Dahl is the 8-man. The scrum half, Sean Davies, BYU graduate. The fly half, Will Maggie. He is a USA Eagle and a tremendous kicker. The wingers, John Ryberg and Harley Davidson. Yes, that's real. The centers, Bryce Campbell and Mika Cruz. And the fullback, Maximo Diacheval. Head coach David Williams is the man for Glendale. The Utah Warriors in the first game ever. Props, Alec Tucci and Angus McClellan. The hookers, Lote Tuipulotu. The locks, Matt Jensen and Corey Olson. The flankers, Jackson Kaka and Ada Elkington. The 8-man and co-captain, Saya Uhila. Uhila means electricity in Tongan. That's a good one. Ben Nichols is the scrum half. Jared Whippy is the fly half. The wingers, Nata Lauti and Josh Anderson. The centers, Paul Asike and Tana Afiaki. And the fullback is Josh Whippy. Those are the starters. The head coach for the Utah Warriors is Alf Daniels. And there is one of the co-captains, the other one, Paul Asike. As for the first time, Major League Rugby is in Utah, and we are underway at Rio Tinto Stadium. As Utah controls and quickly, near the touchline, begins. And the quick kick from Jared Whippy to relieve the pressure is out to the Utah Warriors, and here they go. Will Mackey, little chip and chase. Jared Whippy again gets it. Toss to his twin brother. And he is tackled, held up, not down yet. Near the touchline, and the ruck forms for the Utah Warriors. Quickly out to Alex Tucci, who delivers a blow. Utah with a little bit of possession in the early going here.
Referee's got a, yep.
And a penalty against Glendale, not rolling away. And the Utah Warriors will have a kick, likely kicked out of bounds to try and gain a little possession here. Let's take another look.
When number 7 makes a tackle, his duty is to roll away and release the ball carrier. And if he's laying in the way and they can't get the ball out, that's a penalty.
It's on John Quill, playing flanker for the Glendale Raptors. So that kick out of bounds. Now a line out comes. That's where Utah's Lote Tuipulotu, the hooker, number 2, he'll throw it in, and this is where the guys go high in the air. So this is a battle of height, but really control to be able to get this ball. It's got to be thrown straight.
And there's a little strategy deciding who to lift and at what point and where in the line to lift. So
first line out for the Warriors is successful.
Great job.
Paul Asike's first touch as the Utah Warriors cross midfield.
This is where it's going to be exciting to watch the Warriors on attack when they're in the opposite half, and they can be
Josh
creative.
Whippy in space.
Yeah, yeah.
Flanks Jared Whippy. Jared Whippy in
One
space.
more. There you go.
The sprint towards the try line, and down it's dotted. Utah quickly gets the try 2 minutes into this match.
Is that Ben Nichols that scored that? That's our it's Utah's scrum half, isn't it?
What a sequence off the line out.
Yeah.
With possession. Another look.
Yeah, Whippy to Whippy, and then back to Ben Nichols, the scrum half.
As Nichols dots it down, he's got to place it down. Unlike football, you don't have to cross the goal line, if you will, and it's 5-0 on the try. 2-point conversion coming up from Jared Whippy. He'll kick it perpendicular to where it was scored, so you want to score as centered as possible.
Yeah. If you score in the corner, you have to bring the ball straight out from the corner, and you end up kicking your conversion from the sideline. Clearly, that's a harder kick. So this should be easy for Jared.
And it's no good.
Why
he
did I
missed
say
it
that?
To the right. I was surprised that he was so close. I thought he'd back up a little bit. He did miss the 2-pointer. So it's 5-0 Utah Warriors 2 minutes into the contest.
Did I jinx him when I said it's easy, he should make it?
If you believe you're that powerful, yes.
Well, I hope I'm not.
So 5-0, an impressive string of phases by the Utah Warriors. A quick penalty, a kick into touch, and then suddenly off they go.
Yeah, I've been to a few of their practices, and I've seen a little bit of what they can do in the back line, but I was really excited to see what they do against competition, and I'm pretty sure they're going to be kind of lethal in their back line.
Matt Jensen catches the kickoff. In rugby, the other team kicks to the team that just scored as Angus McClellan knocks on, and you can't knock it forward. So it'll be a Glendale ball here. You can knock it backwards, but you can't knock it forward. That's called a knock-on. And a scrum will form, our first one of the night. And as is the case with everything with Utah tonight, the first everything.
Yeah.
Because it's the first game ever.
We've had our first try, our first missed conversion. We've had our first line out, and here's our first scrum. It's exciting.
Sean Davies will put the ball in. Former BYU Cougar. He's waiting for the scrum to form. Here it goes.
This is a dangerous place.
And this is a great look at it, by the way.
Yeah, when you've got a center scrum, that means the backs get split up side to side. And, yeah, here's the danger right here.
And lots of space for Glendale as the tackle's made just 5 meters out from the try line. Glendale trying to tie this thing up quickly. Casey Rock is tackled near the goal line.
You'll notice that Glendale is going to be a little more patient. They're going to go through a lot of phases, try and jam it up the middle a few times with the forwards, try and cause Utah to commit a lot of men to the tackle. Then when they find some space out wide, they'll send it wide. Or Sean will go right
Sean
in the middle.
Davies, little tap and go, and he's in, or is he held up?
No sign yet from the referee.
It looks like he was held up.
Yeah.
So he's got to dot the ball down, and the Utah Warriors were able to hold the ball up, and so they're going to bring it back out to 5 meters and have a scrum here. Sean Davies, known for his tap and go. There was a penalty against the Utah Warriors. You could kick it out, you can get a scrum, or you can tap and go. He chose to go quick and nearly got in on that one.
Well, he's quick and he's strong, so that's a good combination to kind of snipe a little run through there. So if a penalty occurs inside the 5-yard line or 5-meter line, they bring it back to the 5, and they'll scrum from the 5. They'll have a line out from the 5. So that's as close as you'll start on a penalty situation or a restart.
So here's another scrum, like you mentioned, at the 5-meter line as it gets turned around. And a penalty against the Utah Warriors, spinning that ruck around. So Glendale can opt to kick for 3 points right now or just re-scrum and try and go for that try. 6 minutes in, 5-0 Utah Warriors. They got a quick try just 4 minutes ago, and Glendale knocking on the door here.
So it's interesting. They've got this scrum more or less in the center of the field, but they have all of their backs lined up to the left. Typically, you would kind of split them. What I'm interested to see is if they stay left because they have a man overlap already, or if they bring one of the backs to the right side and try and attack the wider part of the field.
So here comes the scrum. As Sean Davies has it, it goes wide. And the Utah defense holds for the time being. Davies nearly knocked it on there. Casey Rock with the ball as Glendale's trying to tie this thing up and take the lead. Ben Landry, the lock is tackled. Utah stout thus far. Quick offload as Angus McClellan has the tackle. Player has to release the ball. Sean Davies picking it out of there.
Utah's doing a good job of resourcing their defense. See how they...
Another penalty against the Utah Warriors.
Is he reaching for a card? Oh, boy.
Angus McClellan, I believe, was given the yellow card. He didn't like the call. And what will Glendale do? They can get an easy 3 here, and it looks like they will form a scrum again.
So that yellow card means that the Utah player has to go sit out for 10 minutes. He's going to be in the sin bin, and no replacement.
You don't want to be in there.
No, that's a bad place to be. And so now Utah's playing 14 against 15. So a man down for 10 minutes.
So a man up, and that was one of the props. So the question becomes for the Utah Warriors, who steps into that front row position?
So in this case, they will allow a substitute to go in and play the front row, and they'll have to choose another player to come and sit out.
So Micah Hafoka just came in for Jackson Kaka, one of the flankers. So down a flanker and a different prop in Micah Hafoka. So yeah. Glendale continuing to pound the Utah Warriors defense. Another scrum inside the 5-meter line.
They have the same formation they had on the previous 5-meter scrum. Let's see if they
Great push from Glendale as that ball is knocked down. Kicked, it's loose. Glendale has it. Advantage being played for Glendale on a knock-on from the Utah Warriors. Maggie kicks it, and then it's taken away by Nata Lauti.
That's good coverage by Nata.
But
another
advantage.
penalty. That is...
And another penalty on the Utah Warriors. So Glendale continuing to draw mistakes from the Utah Warriors.
That's 3 or 4 penalties in a row against Utah.
And that was an incredible scrum for Glendale. The Warriors were on skates at that point. So another scrum here. Again, Glendale could take 3. They're opting not to. They could kick a penalty, kick right here and just get the 3, but they feel confident in their ability to get inside. But thus far, Utah, with the help of some penalties, has kept them out of the try zone.
So these decisions are made on the field by the captain, right? Sean Davies is the captain. He's saying, hey, fellas, we're close. We've got a center scrum. We've been, working him in the scrum all night. Let's keep the ball in hand and let's try and score a try.
And they've been in this area for about 7 minutes.
Yeah, my guess is if they were deeper out beyond the 22, they might take a kick and take the points. But if you're this
Glendale
tight,
dominating the scrum right now as they're getting put. They can roll this with their feet. Sean Davies doesn't have to do it. This one picked up, and finally another penalty on the Utah Warriors out of that scrum. I suppose they could continue to have penalties the rest of the match and try and keep Glendale out.
well, yeah, Utah's having a hard time stopping that driving scrum. So, they're going to try and pull down. They're going to try and lift. They're going to try and screw it, turn it, I should say. And none of those things are working right now. So we'll see if they can get a little bit lower, maybe work on their body positioning, and see if they can hold this one.
I've never seen this many consecutive scrums ever.
No, and the problem is if he continues to
Ball
penalize
going
him
forward.
for the same thing.
Sean Davies goes wide and then
Knocked on.
and knocked on. So finally the pressure relieved as Glendale knocked on the door continuously, rang the doorbell. No one answered.
That's a really big stand. That's a big defensive stand, and the crowd appreciates that. See them cheering now? They know what happened. That's a big deal. I think at this point, they're...
And another look, you see the knock-on prior to that with, I think it was possibly with Sean Davies back there, as it went wide, and you saw Maximo Diacheval frustrated, the fullback there. And now another scrum, but this time it's the Utah Warriors putting the ball in. Ben Nichols, the scrum half, will do the honors, and Lote Tuipulotu, the hooker, will kick it back, and they'll go from there.
I wonder if right now Sean Davies, the captain, is wishing he had taken a kick for points and walked away with 3. Right now it's looking like they may come away empty-handed. But it's fun to be aggressive. When you're that tight, the odds are you're going to be able to drive it in, especially when you've received that many penalties in a row. You're just going to keep it down there and keep pounding at it.
So a lot of discussion, and we'll see how scrum works out for the Utah Warriors. Glendale, thus far, has been pretty strong in that category in the first 12 minutes. Ball put in and kicked back.
Oh, boy.
And Glendale absolutely rolls this scrum. And where's the ball? Is it dotted down by Glendale? Sean Davies thinks it was. And it was held up. So it's going to come back out. And we're just going to hang out at the 5-meter line the rest of the night, it seems like. My goodness. I think Jared Whippy's going to take a kick here just for entertainment's sake. Just to get the ball out. And finally, after what seemed like an hour, the ball is kicked into touch out of bounds, and it'll be a line out for the Utah Warriors. That was quite the 10 minutes.
Well, there are a few issues here. Utah's got to get that scrum figured out. Otherwise, it's going to be a really long night. On the positive side, Utah was able to hold on down there in really dire straits and still not give up any points.
Absolutely. It took a lot of penalties, but sometimes that's the cost of business.
Yeah.
It'll be a line out for the Utah Warriors, successful in the other line out so far. That led to a great ball-in-hand sequence. And it's knocked backwards, which is fine. And the whistle comes, and now the Utah Warriors draw a penalty.
Yeah, one of the Raptors committed a penalty in the air on the lineout.
We do have a Warrior slow to get up. Looks like it is the scrum half, Ben Nichols, who scored the try. He's up now, and Jared Whippy, the former BYU Cougar, and the Fijian Jared Whippy from Suva, Fiji, grew up in New Zealand, won a national championship on this very field. Will kick it out of bounds, and where he kicks it out is where the line out will be for the Utah Warriors.
Okay, this is similar part of the field where they scored from, right? They're inside Glendale's half. They're gonna have a nice play called. You can see the backs are calling the play right now, and they've got something set, a set piece, and they're going to attack really hard right now. Of course,
that might be the strength early of this team, is that line out is stolen.
Right now it looks like that. I mean, we've only seen the backs with the ball in hand one time, and they scored.
Yeah. Maggie sends it high. He can go up into the air and try and catch it, and that one's knocked on from Utah, it looked like. Loose ball, Bryce Campbell has it for the Glendale Raptors out of the Denver area. Sean Davies, Maggie, Mika Cruz, Harley Davidson, churning his way. Davies to the hooker, Finoglio. Big tackle as Glendale is on their offensive half. Wide again, big hit. Glendale inside the 22. Finoglio again. Big tackle, and then a loose ball.
Stolen. Oh, no.
But it's going to be a Glendale ball here.
One of the
Warriors down.
Yeah. It's interesting to watch this game.
I think it's Tui Pelotu, the hooker.
I've watched a lot of these players for Glendale play in their college careers. Harley Davidson played at Life, I believe. Is that correct? And Max, the fullback, played at University of Colorado. And as I was coaching at BYU, we played against both of those guys a few times. And they were the best players on the field in a lot of those cases.
Ada Elkington down for the Warriors, as well as Tui Pelotu, as they're attended to for the moment. It'll be a Glendale free kick coming up in a moment, but we are about 16 minutes into this thing. It's 5-0 as Elkington is lifted off of his feet.
So he's a starting flanker. Looks like he's going off, and Jackson Kaka is already off in the sin bin. So that means, as a substitute sin bin for the
Micah
front row.
Hafoko, yeah.
So that means both starting flankers are out. The replacement looks like it's going to be Ada's twin brother, Winnie. Right? Number 18?
So no one will notice, except for the jersey number, right?
Right.
A couple of twins on this Utah Warriors team as Maggie kicks into touch. It'll be a line out, and Glendale again trying to tie this thing up or take the lead.
Well,
and we are approaching the 17-minute mark when Angus McClellan will be able to come out of the sin bin.
This is a dangerous spot for both teams with the strength of Glendale's forward pack.
Successful line out. Sean Davies making the calls, waiting for the ball to come out. We're waiting for Utah to roll away. Did Utah win this back?
Yeah, that's
a
great counter ruck. That's a really good job.
And the quick kick for space is sent out, so Utah takes it away.
And Jared meant to kick that out of bounds and clear the lines and set up a line out, but it stayed in, and now Glendale's going to have a counterattack.
Harley Davidson, 13 meters out. Maggie. Diacheval wide. This has some space. Mika Cruz all the way. He's going to go in for a try. The missed tackle on the edge by Natalauti, and we are tied at 5 with the try by Mika Cruz, the 19-year-old.
Yeah, if they show a replay there, you'll see Nata kind of got held inside a little bit, sucked in a little bit by the ball and the ball carrier. I know they like to play inside out anyway on defense. Utah does. So to play the inside shoulder was what they were trying to do, but it looked like he was a little too far. Watch. He'll be a little bit too far inside. You'll see Nata. And now he has to turn and run and chase. And then
tried to clip the ankles, and then Josh Whippy trying to play the space, and a nice take by Mika Cruz for the try. And we are tied at 5. The 2-point conversion coming up here in a second, trying to take the lead for Glendale from Will Maggie. He's from England, but he's a USA Eagle. Played the fly half position for the U.S. as they were the ARC champs a couple of weeks ago, playing in all over North and South America.
So this kick is from about 24, 25 meters out, and it's 15 meters from the sideline. So maybe that's some perspective for the viewers.
Are you going to mention this is an easy one for
This will be an
Will
easy
Maggie
kick.
too?
You got to make this without any problem. Maybe he'll miss it left.
It's worth 2 points. And Glendale
nice
takes
kick.
the lead, 7-5. Glendale Raptors on the try. I thought it would have come earlier.
Yeah.
Utah able to play some solid defense, albeit with some penalties, but here we are, 7-5, 18 minutes in, and Angus McClellan back in out of the sin bin after that yellow card.
So they're at full strength now. Utah is
15
okay.
on 15.
Well, you know, Jared Whippy wanted to have that kick go out of bounds, the one that stayed in the middle, and Glendale counterattacked. And after one tackle, they scored. So hopefully he can get his clearing kicks to get out of bounds.
Jared Whippy with the kickoff, and this will be taken by Maggie. He'll clear it. And a good kick to Josh Whippy, the fullback for the Utah Warriors. Throws to his twin brother, Jared. Jared will clear the space. Fullback Maximo Diacheval sends it high, and the co-captain for the Utah Warriors, Saya Uhila, with it. A little dance in space, and then finally tackled in the ruck forms for the Utah Warriors. 7-5 Raptors here, 20th minute.
Utah's really flat on these recycles, and I'm sure that's by design to hit the line as quickly as possible.
And Glendale takes it away. Ben Nichols tried to connect and missed. Connor Cook, this one goes out of bounds. It'll be a throw-in for the Utah Warriors.
Who made that tackle? Somebody hit him pretty good, and it made him make an errant pass.
That's the thing with rugby, some tremendously big hits and good runs and good kicks. There you see Nata Lauti, one of the wingers. Rugby players and fans alike know the need for having quality health care available when and where they need it. Do you need sports rehab, care for a broken bone, stitches, or help with a cold? Intermountain Healthcare has you covered. From Instacare to clinics to Connect Care to Intermountain Sports Medicine, we're helping you get care how, where, and when you want it. Visit healingforlife.com to learn more about our wide variety of services. Intermountain Sports Medicine. Utah trying to advance as bodies go flying, tumbling. Big counter ruck as Winnie Elkington goes there, and I think a little bit of a tussle.
Yeah, a little brouhaha.
Forming here between Glendale and Utah. I guarantee this will be a natural rival, if not the rival, for the Utah Warriors in this league.
It feels like it early on. It feels like that's probably going to be the case.
Regionally, familiarity
Yeah.
between former college players. And a penalty on the Utah Warriors. So Glendale with the option here. And we're seeing the assistant referee come talk to our referee for a moment. Perhaps disciplinary action could be in order. We shall see. But Glendale will have the ball. They can kick for points here or kick into touch and go with the line out. And now our referee will come over and talk to Utah Warriors.
Well, what they don't need is another yellow card. They'll end up playing the majority of the first half with 14 guys.
Polisike and Corey Olson. And it looks like another yellow card handed out, this time to Corey Olson, the number 5 lock, and he'll go off. So 2 yellow cards in the first 21 minutes of the Utah Warriors.
He was the one at the bottom of that little pile when they were having a little discussion on the ground. So something must have happened to cause that.
It's a kick into touch and a line out again for Glendale Raptors as they try and chew up some real estate here and get back into the try zone. So 15 on 14 again as Corey Olson will sit out for 10 minutes with the yellow. Line out 1, maul forms. Warriors have to hold it up with strength here. Can't knock it down or just trip them. And the ball goes loose and a ruck forms. Here we go. Davies to Casey Rock. Utah scrambling. John Quill. Ball's wide and goes down. You can drop it backward, no problem, but a tackle outside the 22. A lot of turf lost.
Looks like Utah's
in that
got the
sequence,
ball.
And Utah gets the ball back.
That's great defense. Good scrambling defense.
And then kicked out by Ben Nichols. Here's Maggie. Lots of space on the wide side. John Quill.
Utah's got their defense in place, though. That he had nowhere to run.
Matt Jensen with the tackle for Utah. Sean Davies turns to his left, goes to Maximo Diacheval, and Utah intercepts and takes it away.
Maximo looked like he was worried about getting hit, and he just kind of hot potatoed that ball down the line.
There's Jared Whippy into space. He's tackled.
Physical rugby will cause you to do some things you don't want to normally do.
There's Winnie Elkington, who's tripped up. Alex Tucci with a stiff arm. He goes into space. Look at him rumble.
Yeah, breaking
Look
the
at him
gain
go.
line.
My goodness. All the way down inside the 22 of Glendale.
Get the ball
Utah
out.
finally with some possession, and they lost the ball, and here we go.
Oh,
Glendale with lots of space. Bryce Campbell back to McGee. Big hit, Paul Asike trying to tackle Harley Davidson. He's still alive, still untackled. Hardly any defense, and here's Maximo Diacheval. Offloads it, and John Ryberg goes in for the try.
Wow, Glendale kept that ball alive in a lot of different amazing ways. Really well done by them. And, of course, there are players scattered all over the field.
12-5. Glendale took advantage. Looked like Utah was all the way inside the 22. Glendale took it away, and Utah could not get back to defend it. John Ryberg in for the 5-pointer.
Well, when they got the ball, they got it out to where the space was, and they found themselves, 3 Glendale guys against 1 Utah guy, and it just went off from there.
Nice pass from Maximo Diacheval and John Ryberg, the 26-year-old from Houston.
Can you tell which Warrior is on the ground being attended to? Number 6.
Look in a moment as Maggie hits the conversion. Jackson Kaka is down. He's up now, and the conversion is good. It is 14-5. 25 minutes in to this contest. So far, what have we learned about these two teams in this exhibition match, in your opinion?
Well, I had an assumption that Utah was going to be better in the scramble and the fractured rugby phase, but I think I might have been wrong on that. I think they're equally matched in the scramble. But Glendale brings more men to the scramble, meaning somebody takes off on a break, he's got 3 or 4 guys in support. They're a little more dangerous in open field than I guess I anticipated.
Kickoff to Glendale, 14-5 here in the first half. 40-minute halves here in rugby. Just outside Utah's 22, Sean Davies to Kelipi Fifita. Low liner. It's taken by Josh Whippy. Over to Jared Whippy. A little bit of space here. Josh Anderson. All 3 of those guys played at BYU. Anderson taken down. Not a lot of help for the Utah Warriors, like you mentioned.
Yeah.
In the ruck here, it finally forms. Utah still with possession. Utah with it near midfield.
Again, Utah's really flat on this recycle ball. Picked up an offside penalty against Glendale there.
Matt Jensen had the ball. Once the ruck forms, you got to get back past the line where it forms. So it'll be a kick for Jared Whippy. The left footer, he'll go into touch, and then we'll have a line out here for the Utah Warriors here in a moment. Whippy taking his time, and it goes into touch. What's up, Warrior Nation? Our Nui family of over 300,000 is beyond thrilled to be part of the Warrior Home Opener. At Nui, we're busy paving a groundbreaking way to financial freedom and changing lives around the world. Don't get left behind. Join the movement now to discover a whole new way to earn. For more information, visit nui.social. Line out 1. Jackson Kaka, and here's Paul Asike. He is a load, former NFL fullback, BYU Cougar, and co-captain. As it looked like Glendale was offside and kicked it, kept alive, but
well, he came
Utah
came right through the gate.
So he was
on
legal.
The counter ruck. Yeah, he just
There you
came
go.
straight through.
Taken by Matt Jensen. Utah with a bit of possession here. Angus McClellan, a little pick and jam.
Utah's got a lot of guys committed to this ruck, so you can see there's 4 or 5 guys to make sure they maintain possession here with one of the players on the field.
Jackson Kaka hurt again, and he's holding his right shoulder.
Same one he was holding before. This is really critical for Utah. They are about 25 meters out. They've got to attack. They've got to be able to get some points from this, whether it's a try,
Jackson's in the mix right here.
penalty kick. Yeah, they'll play
Trying to
around
avoid
it.
him. Yep. That's unique to rugby.
They've got to be patient. Utah's got to be patient with this and not get excited and try and do something too spectacular. Here's the penalty.
And not rolling away. A penalty on Casey Rock as he laid on Matt Jensen there. And we'll see if Jared Whippy will take the points here. He'll kick for a three-pointer or not as Jackson Kaka is being attended to.
You just talked about Casey Rock. Tell the viewers how big he is.
6'9", 260.
6'9", that's all.
That screams winning a lineout. He's a lock, so he's going to be a guy that might win a lineout. My goodness, or lift the guy above his head.
Yeah, their locks go 6'9", 260, and Ben at number 5 is 6'6", 270.
And Landry.
Yeah, that second row.
Big boys.
Yeah, second row is a big, couple of big units there.
As you see Jackson Kaka holding his right shoulder. Hopefully he's okay. Almost looks like he's trying to hold it in place. And in comes Lance Williams to replace him, the all-time leading tackler for Hawaii football. And Utah will go for points, essentially like a field goal. This is a penalty try, a three-pointer for Jared Whippy as Utah tries to get on the board. 2 minutes in, Ben Nichols scored the try. The conversion, seemingly easy, was missed. 5 points, 14 straight from the Raptors, and now Utah trying to answer with 3 here.
Yeah, Jared can make this kick. If he just takes a deep breath, a little cleansing breath, and just strokes it and follows through, he should be just fine. It's when you get a little uptight and a little excited, you kind of jerk it, you kind of pull it left.
Or you just say it's easy.
Or you
that happens sometimes too.
If you get jinxed by some knucklehead in the booth.
Whippy about 35 meters away. And no good.
I couldn't tell. Did it miss it to the left side? Did he miss it?
He missed it to the left side.
Yeah.
So missed conversion, missed penalty kick early from Jared Whippy. And Will Maggie will take the kick after the miss. So 5 points left off the board for Utah from a few makeable kicks.
And Utah gets the ball back almost in the same position they were in. I think they're going to like
Paulasike, here we go.
I thought they'd like the counterattack, and they've done pretty well on that so far.
Nichols to Angus McClellan, fakes to his right, throws a man down.
Something else you want to see is how quickly the ball comes off of that ruck. When it's down, let's get the ball out now.
And Glendale is taking it back. Casey Rock back to Diachivon. He kicks high and chases. Jared Whippy jumps up to catch it. Josh Whippy, twin bro, making some moves inside that soccer center circle here at Rio Tinto, home of Real Salt Lake. McClellan nearly intercepted there. That went backwards, still legal. Saya Uhila, the 8-man with the catch at the 10-meter mark. Ben Nichols, the scrum half, lines it up. Angus McClellan inside to Lote Tuipulotu, the hooker. Here's a runner and a big hit. Not to Lauti.
Glendale comes up quickly. See how fast they come up and take away the space for Utah's attack.
Josh Whippy holding it out. That one's batted backwards. Utah still with it. And finally, it appears both teams just stopped playing for the moment, held up.
Looks like he's going to play a knock-on and award a scrum to Glendale. A couple of things that I'd be interested in seeing would be kind of quicker ball off the back of the ruck for Utah, and a little bit better structure on Utah's defense in open play.
Big D Construction is proud to sponsor the Utah Warriors and help build rugby in our community. Big D Construction is proud sponsor of the Utah Warriors. So out of the sin bin, Corey Olson, welcome back. It's got the chops going, dude. I don't know if he's driving a truck on the side or what.
It's a nice look. I like it.
32 minutes in, 14-5.
Pull it off if you're a big, tough guy.
Yeah, if you're a lock, 6'4", 250, you can get away with
the
it.
wings.
The wing, no way. Yeah, big deconstruction, beautiful. I think that was a timely read myself. Glendale, 10-meter mark, trying to add to this 9-point advantage.
Sean's got his arms out. He wants a call from the referee.
Ben Landry. Maggie. Yacheval, space. Harley Davidson cuts it back in.
Watch how much faster Sean gets the ball off these rucks. That took a second, but typically he's on the scene and he knows where the ball's going, and it comes out right now. See, here it comes.
Big tackle by Tana Afiaki.
Oh, that's a two-man tackle.
Tui Pelotu in the mix there with Alex Tucci, as Glendale still possesses.
Looked like number one was kind of a pulling guard on that one. Looks like he had a lead
Cruz,
block.
a little obstruction.
Yeah.
Possibly. Here's Connor Cook. He's got those dreads. Great ruck. And now some space. Utah on its heels a little bit. Tackle forms, not a lot of help. Glendale, and now they form inside the 22. Maggie, Campbell.
He's a strong runner, isn't he?
Lots of guys on the right side for Glendale, and they'll get the ball out there, nearly taken away. Maggie. A couple of quick offloads. The 8-man Peter Dahl with some space, and he'll flip it back, caught, and hit out of bounds.
Well, they were scrambling for their lives again. These Utah Warriors, this whole first half, they've kind of been scrambling a little bit, and they held on again. It'll be a Utah lineout, correct? Yeah.
Another Warrior down on the other side of the field. Looks like Josh Anderson. One of the wing. No, it's not Josh. We've seen several Warriors hit the deck, unfortunately. 2 in the sin bin, as they'll attend to the injured Warrior for a moment. I think it's Saya Uhila,
Is that number
the
8?
co-captain, the number 8.
I think you're right. Well,
Big part of this team.
it's going to give everybody a minute to get a little breath, get a drink.
And they have stopped the clock.
Yeah.
Spring Hill Suites by Marriott, South Jordan, team hotel of the Warriors. We are here in Sandy, Utah at Rio Tinto Stadium. The home of the Warriors will be Zions Bank Stadium in Harriman. Brand new facility. They're still finishing it.
Yeah.
Great to be here at Rio Tinto, home of Real Salt Lake. And it's appropriate that the first Utah Warriors Major League Rugby game is in a stadium of a Major League Soccer team, because that's kind of the blueprint for this league.
Yeah, they're trying to model the Major League Rugby after MLS. The way the teams are structured, the way the league is structured, the way the growth is structured, and I think that's wise. So it's apropos. Jerem, it's apropos.
Yes, it is. Uhila was the guy, holding his right shoulder a bit, stays in the contest. And it'll be a line out here for the Utah Warriors. Or will it be a scrum? It's going to be a scrum. Ben Nichols wearing the scrum cap.
So they must have knocked on before it went out of bounds. Yeah.
Both teams really low, and this one gets spun around.
Oh.
And still up, and Ben Nichols has some space. He's being dragged, tossed it back, and it was off Lance Williams into touch,
Looked
out
like
of
a
bounds.
Utah ball.
And a quick throw from Sean Davies. No, Utah Warriors will have the line out. So Sean Davies trying to go quick.
Cheeky.
But it wasn't Glendale's. Sean makes very quick decisions. The tap and go. He wants that quick line. He knows what he wants right away. And that's what you want in a captain and the number 9.
He's played his entire life. He played at a high level.
South
at BYU.
African.
South African, yep. Played at a high level at BYU. Has played for the national team. He plays sevens. He plays touch. He plays everything. And so he's a good decision maker.
Line out 1, kick into space. Anderson going near it. Nice pull down by Glendale. Trying to add to this lead with 5 minutes to go in the half. Up 9. AutoSource, proud to drive the Warriors where smart money buys. AutoSource, branded titles, salvage titles, is proud to support the Utah Warriors. Penalty on the Warriors. And Will Maggie kicks into touch.
You know, they have really nice cars at AutoSource. Have you ever been there? They have a couple of
I
locations.
haven't. I need to check it out.
Yeah, beautiful cars.
Line out coming for Glendale inside the 22 as you see Paul Lasike, one of the co-captains of this team. And the maul forms for the Raptors from Glendale, Colorado. In the first ever game for the Utah Warriors. Thanks for hanging out with us here on YouTube and Facebook. Mika Cruz, he's already scored one try. Look at him go. Jared Whippy tackles him near the try line. Glendale trying to add to this lead.
Wow.
Great decision and the try by John Quill. 5 more on the board for Glendale, 19-5 with the conversion coming.
John Quill looks like he's done that 100,000 times, and it looks like Sean and John have done that together. Watch how quick and straight and fast this line is by John Quill. He just comes flying out of nowhere, straight up the guts, boom. You're not going to stop that. There's a difference between taking that ball on the fly versus setting up static in a flat line and trying to move the ball down, you know, hand to hand. Doesn't happen. You've got to have a guy coming on hard and straight, and that's a beautiful try. And Utah didn't have an answer for that. They didn't have a guy in that spot.
Maggie lines it up and makes it. He's 3 for 3 on conversions, 21-5. Glendale Raptors here in the 38th minute. Glendale defeated NOLA Gold out of New Orleans, 38-14 on March 10th. In their first match of this season against a Major League Rugby team. This is the Utah Warriors' first game. They'll play the Ottawa Arrows. We'll be back with you next Friday at 7 Mountain Time. So 21-5, about 2.5 minutes to go here in the first half. Jared Whippy with the kickoff. Harley Davidson underneath it. There's Peter Quill, who just scored the try. 3 different try scores for Glendale tonight. Felipe Fifita. Maggie, wide. Numbers in space.
Good
Paul
tackle.
Lasike makes the tackle.
That's a great open field tackle.
And takes the ball away. Utah, be nice to get some points here at the end of the half to get a little momentum. They scored 2 minutes in. They've been quiet since.
Can you see how nobody's coming onto the ball for Utah, though? They're taking it standing still, and that's a difference.
Ben Nichols, like you said, no support right now for the Utah Warriors. Nichols stays alive. Josh Whippy with him. Overcomes Winnie Elkington.
They've got to get him on the ground or move forward. He already awarded the ball to Glendale.
So Glendale will have it. It looked like Utah had a chance there.
Well, if you take it in to a tackle and they hold you up and you don't advance the ball and you can't get the ball carrier to the ground, he awards the ball to the opposing team.
That's where you need the homies to come from behind and just knock you down, right?
Yeah. Did you see him trying to pull him down? Some of his buddies were trying to get him on the ground, and, of course, they were trying to hold him up.
When you want to be tackled.
Yeah, please let me down. Well, the biggest problem there was that Ben Nichols took off on that little run and had no support. You can't go alone. And that's not his fault. That's the support's fault. Sometimes if you take off and you know you're alone, you'll weave your way back into support. You'll find where the guys are, and you'll head that way. Ben was heading straight up the field, and nobody was coming with him. I don't know if that's a fitness issue, a recognition issue. I can't tell at this point.
Felipe Fifita is the one on the ground. And I think what we're seeing here, too, is a battle of a team that has a program, has been a team for years. They've been playing together.
Yeah.
Versus a team that's played together for 2 months. And in the case for some guys, 2 weeks. As they come together, they figure out chemistry, roles, strengths, weaknesses. Glendale, we knew would be clinical.
Yeah.
And we've seen them do what they do so far. And the Warriors had a nice open field try in the beginning. But so far, the Raptors have had their way for the most part.
Well, you know, tonight is an event. This is a big event.
Absolutely.
But the season is going to be a process. And putting a team together and finding some continuity is an absolute process. It's not an event.
And not all of the guys that Utah will field for this entire season are even here yet.
No.
And this group is figuring it out together. There's some real talent on this team. And here we are seeing them for the first time together as Mika Cruz hangs on to that. And he's got some space. Glendale trying to tack on some more before the half ends. Ball bounces out.
Knocked forward.
And does Utah have the ball? If they don't, they're going to get it back, and they do. So a knock on. Coming up on 40 minutes, which would mark the end of halftime. It'll be up to the ref. Here he'll take into account a few things with stoppages. You see John Quill, who scored the try a moment ago.
So on that particular move, Utah were playing 3 men up in the back line, and they were playing their open side winger back a little bit. Glendale saw that, and they made a nice miss pass, out past the defense, and just took off on a run. So Utah's either going to have to say, well, we're going to pull up our open side wing and play a flat four defense so they can't pass it around us. We'll make them run it around us. Well, that's what I would do. I don't know if that's what they're going to do.
It'll be a scrum for Utah, approaching 40 minutes. So if the Warriors are going to tack on any points here, they're going to have to do it in a hurry as we are upon halftime here in Sandy, Utah. And Utah awarded the ball, and they'll go tap and go, just try and get something. Polisike,
nice
back
loop
to Jared
move.
Whippy. There's
Nice.
some space.
Here we come.
Josh Whippy. He's got Nata Lauti next to him. Stiff arm. Can he go all the way? Lauti is tackled, and he has no support here. He's up.
Got
He's
up on
going to
his
lay
feet.
it back. Utah has a chance.
Kept the ball alive. Still alive.
Ball's still in bounds. If it goes out, it's going to be the half more than likely. Pick and jam to Corey Olson. Ref's going to let this play, so Utah's got a chance to tack some points on. Crowd into it now.
Now be patient. Oh, he's got a penalty.
Not rolling away the call. And a tap and go. Here we go. Ben Nichols is pile driven into the ground. Polisike looking for the ball. Lasike has it.
All hands on deck. They're going to pick and jam. Try and stay tight.
Lance Williams
Scored.
dots it down, and Utah tacks on 5 before the end of the half.
I love how they stayed tight. They all came in together. They went with each other, took a couple of rips off the back of that ruck, and jammed it up the middle for a score. I love it.
The former Hawaii linebacker, the all-time leading tackler at Hawaii, gets the ball and makes it happen. 5 points for Lance Williams and the Warriors, and Utah needed that to get a little bit of momentum going into the break.
Let's see, we're right at 40 minutes, too, so they couldn't have.
That had to happen when it happened.
Had to score right now. Tell you what, that little quick tap and go, they got the ball all the way out to Josh Whippy. He came down, fended a guy off, ran over another guy, made the offload to Tanata Lauti. Thank goodness he was in support. They're on the touch line. They keep the ball alive, and then the forwards took over from there. That was a beautiful full-team try. 1 through 15, it took every one of them to get that thing done.
And Jared Whippy will try and tack on 2 here. 21-10 with a chance for 2 here on the conversion. And Whippy goes wide left. So he missed all 3 of his kicks in the first half. 2 conversions, 1 penalty try, but that is halftime. And what a finish to halftime as Utah tacks on 5 at the end. So basically 2 minutes in, and then in the last minute, Utah able to score, and in between that, 21 points from the Glendale Raptors as they lead at 21-10 at the break. An exciting half of rugby between the Utah Warriors and the Glendale Raptors. My goodness, here in the first one for Utah. And at the very end, let's talk about and show you some of the highlights if you're just tuning in. Utah early, able to get on the board. 2 minutes into the game, able to get a try. The first try in Utah Warriors history, ball in hand, nice space. Jared Whippy into space, and then Ben Nichols dotted it down for the first try in history.
Ever.
Utah Warriors.
Yeah. That was a nicely done, by the backs. I was actually excited. I thought maybe we're going to, have a high-scoring affair.
Then it took
Slow down a little
40
after
minutes to get some more points.
Yeah.
That made it 5-0. Conversion no good. And then 21 straight from the Raptors as we take another look. Jared Whippy just in space. There's some good backs on this team. And we saw what they did at the end of the half as well.
Yeah.
to get some more points on the board. Glendale would answer with 21 straight. And Glendale, 21 straight points. They kind of controlled it, and there was a sequence there where Glendale was inside the 5 meters for a long time, about 10 minutes, and Utah able to repel that and keep Glendale off the board for that moment early.
Yeah, you know what I saw in the first half, this is not a talent discrepancy. You know, one side isn't more talented than the other. They're a little more organized. They maybe have a little bit better structure, and that's something that Utah is going to get better at, even in the second half. The second half will be more structured than the first half.
Glendale very organized. We knew that. They have their own stadium. They have a program. They've been a program for 11 years now. Yeah. No question on that. They showed that. What did you see from Utah in that last sequence that maybe gives you hope that in the second half we could see more of them?
Well, the decision-making is going to have to be faster. They're going to have to get the ball off the back of these rucks a little bit quicker, which will catch, you know, Glendale on their heels, and then let the backs take advantage. I think they have an advantage in the backs over the forwards.
Lots of penalties on Utah, 2 yellow cards in that. Gave up 21 unanswered, but that try gets Utah right back in at the half, 21-10, Glendale on top.
By my count, the penalty count was even, 7-7. The problem is 2 really big penalties against Utah, sent the guys to the bin. So essentially, they paid 20 minutes of the 40 down a man. That's a big deal. Maybe we should give them more credit.
That's a 2-try difference.
Yeah.
Played some good defense, but Glendale did capitalize on that in front of a nice crowd here tonight. Halftime, much more coming up in a bit. We'll step aside for the moment, but Glendale up 21-10. We'll give you some of the stats in a minute. Glendale up 11 in the first ever Utah Warriors rugby game here at Rio Tinto Stadium. We'll be back in a moment.
We're excited to be part of this
Welcome back. Second half about to begin here at Rio Tinto Stadium in Sandy, Utah. Jerem Jordan, Justin Nadald. Fun first half between these two teams, and again, the first ever game for the Utah Warriors. Glendale clinical, 21 unanswered points, but at the beginning and the end of the half, Utah Warriors scored. They have a little bit of momentum.
Yeah, the middle 30 minutes were a little bit rough. Well, and they were playing a man down, so that's hard. They were a little disjointed on defense once in a while. That'll be repaired. Nothing that has happened isn't fixable. That's the good news.
That's the good news.
Yeah.
We'll see what adjustments are made here going into the second half. Few injuries on both sides. Jackson Kaka looked to maybe injure a shoulder. Saya Uhila, the co-captain, number 8 man for the Utah Warriors, holding his shoulder. So some nicks and bruises in the first game.
Well, and both flankers are out now, both starting flankers. And I don't know if Saya went out or if he's still in, but that's the whole back row is kind of nicked up. So there shouldn't be a huge drop-off for the second-team guys, but there'll be a little bit. And, they'll pick it up.
We'll see what the second half holds here as we are underway in the second half between the Glendale Raptors and the Utah Warriors. Glendale possessing to start here. Let's give you some of the stats from halftime. Lineouts, 2 for 2 for Glendale, 5 for 6 for Utah. That was a question, how would the set pieces be? Or
right.
Sean Davies, nice fake, and he's tackled near midfield. Scrums, 5 for 6 for Glendale, 1 for 2 for the Warriors. Penalties, even at 7. 3 tries for Glendale, 2 for Utah. The difference, all 3 conversions good from Will Maggie. 0 for 2 from Utah. Penalty kicks, Utah missed one as the ball goes wide. A little bit of support. Mika Cruz, who scored a try at the 10-meter line. And a couple of knock-ons for each. So those are your halftime stats here. 40 minutes more between Utah and Glendale in the inaugural Utah Warriors game here at Rio Tinto Stadium. Great vibe from the crowd. Here's Connor Cook, the flanker. He'll cut it up. Tackled near the 22-meter line by Josh Whippy. Counter-ruck by Utah. And Utah wins the ball back.
Knock on.
That's the thing. You can have a great run, a string of phases, a lot of territory chewed up, and then one little knock on, meaning it hits you and bounces forward, and you concede the ball.
A minute ago you were talking about the stats, and Glendale was 5 for 6 on their own scrums. Those 5 scrums that they won were devastating. I mean, they had Utah on skates.
Dominant, right?
Just dominant, yeah. And so look for that to kind of continue. What Utah wants to do now is get it through that scrum quickly, get the ball out, and get the ball out of bounds. They don't want to mess around down here. This is danger zone. This is the red zone.
And we'll see how Utah fares here at the start of the second half. A scrum inside the 22 here. Glendale 1-0 on the season, having defeated NOLA Gold. And this is Utah's first game. They play Ottawa next Friday. We'll be back for that one on the broadcast. Details pending. As Ben Nichols, the scrum half, will set it as Glendale goes forward a little bit. Utah holds its own. Ben Nichols will kick it near the touchline. Kept inbounds by Maximo Diacheval. He'll kick and chase, and no one's there. And it stays in bounds. Nice kick by Maximo as he tackles Angus McClellan, and he passed it forward, it would seem. Not called by the official there, and Glendale takes it back.
That was a nifty little kick and chase by Maximo.
McGee, short kick, taken back. Here's Jared Whippy. And he'll kick it out.
That's good. Create a little bit of space.
And no one home. Nicely done.
Play in the opposite half.
Diacheval. And now Glendale. Oh, a bruising run. Sean Davies wide. Nobody there. Utah trying to defend that. Looked like it went forward, and then that was knocked on by Utah. And it's going to be the knock-on the Warriors. And Glendale gets the ball back.
Well, Utah dodged a bullet when Maximo took that ball down the sideline, chipped it down, and after the prop collected the ball, he made the pass back in. You mentioned that it looked a little forward. It looked kind of forward to me, too. So they were lucky that wasn't called. and then they got out of danger.
So another scrum for Glendale, 5 for 6 in the first half. Pretty successful on this set piece. And Sean Davies, the South African, the BYU grad, he got a master's from Life University in Georgia. Played rugby there as well. Maggie to his runner, offloaded a few quick ones as Maggie got it back. A little give and go. Glendale trying to add to its 21 points on the board. Big tackle, but rolling forward. Ball's released. Davies to the near side. Offloaded quickly from Quill, and here's going to be another try by Maximo Diachibal. Nice offload by John Quill. And Glendale adds 5 more at the 45-minute mark.
Well, they're getting the ball recycled off of these tackles really quickly, and that's a pretty big difference in this game. See, he goes down. Sean Davies is on the spot, picks it up, and it gets outside. You know, quick pass away from the ruck, and they score. Sean has always been really good at that. He comes to the ruck with a decision already made. So he doesn't have to get to the ball, look around, decide what he's going to do. He's already made it. He gets to the ball, and it's out. Big difference.
And Will Maggie, 3 for 3 in conversions. We'll try and tack on another 2 points here as Utah's now down 26-10. And water break for the boys on the side as Blake Rogers and Casey Rock are on the bench for the Glendale Warriors. So perhaps a few subs coming in or have come in for them as Maggie lines it up. He's from London, went to Leeds for college in England, and then moved to the U.S. and is an Eagle. And his kick.
Oh, he curved it. Did he curve it in?
Is good. Nice kick by Will Maggie, 4 for 4.
It was just kind of hanging up there for a minute, and at the last minute, just curved and dropped in.
Yeah, 4 for 4 in conversions, and that is a big difference in this game. Another look at this fantastic conversion. And that had some distance on it. Just up and over. So 28-10, the Warriors in need of some points on the board to engage this inaugural crowd here at Rio Tinto Stadium. And Jared Whippy will kick off. Nika Cruz plows over his own guy. Davies. Quickly to Kelipi Fufita.
See how quickly that ball came out again? And they've got an overlap.
Got some space. Connor Cook, the flanker. Tackled by Paul Lasike. Here's John Quill, who had an excellent offload, the assist, if you will, on the last try.
Oh, nice tackle.
Big hit in the middle of the field. Angus McClellan involved in that. Maggie, Cruz. Big hip, ball popped on the side, and then a tackle out of bounds.
The side judge is telling him that might have been a little high. Might see a penalty up here.
Yeah, it's not going to be a line out. So, yeah, a little conversation, and the judge is going to come over. Let's see if he hands out a third yellow. Coming over to talk to Paul Lasike, one of the co-captains, and saying, yeah, high tackle. Or at least warn him of such. He did make signals so we could all see. A few Warriors on the turf, and it looks like we do have a substitution coming in. Brian Wanless into the game for Glendale. And Lote Tuipulotu, the hooker, down for Utah for the moment. Clock has stopped at 47:45. Typically a running clock, but the ref will stop it if feels like it needs to be paused for the moment.
Looks like Luke White has come on also, probably at lock number 17.
So Connor Cook is out for Glendale. Casey Rock is out. Blake Rogers is out. So high tackle was the call. And it will be a line out. or Glendale. Up 28-10.
Here they come with the driving maul again.
Utah throwing bodies. Ball's loose now. Here we go. Ball goes wide, nearly knocked on. Yachival, who had the try a moment ago. BYU, or a Utah tackler, former Cougar. Off his feet for a moment, and this ball, will it go into touch or the try line? It goes.
Cross. It should have crossed. No, it looks like it crossed the line and then went out of bounds, which should have the ball back where he kicked it from.
Now that's the question, and it's being discussed. Did it go through the try zone and out?
Yeah, they're coming back. Here's a replay.
And here's why this is a big play, because where it was, if that's the case, if it goes out, it comes back to where it was kicked.
If that was a football field, there would have been a little orange
little pylon in the corner. So it's going to come back to where it was kicked. That's why the contest, the appeal is so strong from Glendale.
That's a 40.
They gave up a lot of territory.
35-yard difference, right? Lucky for Utah that they saw it that way.
And Lote Tuipulotu. And here's a conversation. Corey Olson and one of the Warriors, or one of the Raptors, rather, having a stern convo. I thought it was going to be a lineout. Now it's a scrum. They're just having a chat pre-scrum.
I can hear some of the crowd trying to cheer for the boys and get them riled up and get them going.
So now it's a scrum as opposed to what could have been a 22 drop. Here we go, Paul Lasike. Whippy. Wide, bouncing out of bounds.
That's too bad. They had a little bit of an overlap. Looked like they were going to gain some
And the
yardage.
quick line out.
Yeah.
From Glendale. Opt not to take their time here. Go quick. Here's the touch line on the other side. Glendale continuing to be clinical. Maggie. Wide to Mika Cruz. Cruz with some space.
Man, every time I look
Throws
up,
it backwards. Kicked, which is legal. A couple of boots are off. See the padding from one of the boots.
Socks
and a
shoes.
stern run from Bryce Campbell inside the 22 now, as Angus McClellan waits for things to cool off. Maximo Diachival.
Little interference. You see the lead blocker.
Or obstruction. You can't be a blocker, if you will.
He didn't try to do that, but he got caught in no man's land, and the move went behind him, and instead of backing out of the way, he kind of continued up the field. If you look like you're trying to pull yourself back, they'll let you get away with it, but if you're clearly moving upfield, they don't like the way that looks.
Mika Cruz is down, and time stops.
It's interesting. Glendale has a little pattern that they run when it's a set piece. They'll come out to their backs, and instead of moving it straight down the line, they'll keep one guy back in a pocket. So it looks like the attack line is moving up tight, and then they can pass the ball behind that tight line to a guy in the pocket, which kind of sets up a secondary back line, if you will. And that's how they've been finding so much success against Utah's backs.
Zermatt Resort and Spa, be inspired. Zermatt Resort and Spa, proud to support the Utah Warriors and inspire rugby in Utah. This is a long time coming, just watching this match right now of a professional team in Utah. Major League Rugby, Highland Rugby, BYU and Utah National Championships collegiately have been here. So many Eagles have come from this part of the country. This is quite the event tonight to have Major League Rugby in Utah. As you see, Mika Cruz helped off the field. One of the centers, the 19-year-old who scored a try in the 18th minute. So he's helped off. And the free kick from Jared Whippy.
It looks like Utah has brought on the reserve hooker in Ray Forrester, another BYU product by way of New Zealand.
You see Alf Daniels loading up with as many Kiwis as possible. The Kiwi himself, which isn't a bad idea.
Well, the style of play that he's used to coaching, is the same style that these guys are used to playing. It's a Southern Hemisphere.
Yes.
It's a wide open. They have structure. They have patterns. They have principles of play, but they're allowed to be creative. In fact, they're encouraged to be creative, right? They want to make decisions on the fly. They want to be wide open. And so finding the guys that are used to playing the way you coach is obviously important.
He said, we want to be creative but not reckless, and we want to earn the right to go wide.
There you go.
Scrum for Glendale. 28-10, 52nd minute. Here in the second half at Rio Tinto Stadium in Sandy, Utah. Thanks for hanging out with us here on a Friday night. Glendale advancing the ball. Davies quickly with the offload as Glendale tries to tack on some more. Glendale churning up some territory. Davies to Maggie.
They're starting to run a little pop pass now. They've done it twice in a row, Glendale has.
And the knock on from Glendale to be Utah ball. Nice run from a moment ago. Ata Malifa, I believe, off the bench with a nice run out of the back, but ultimately knocked on. Sinorama Sandy is proud to support your Utah Warriors. Sinorama Sandy, the way to grow your business.
I didn't see Glendale run that little pop pass in the first half, unless they did and I missed it. But the last two possessions, they'll take the ball carrier and crash really hard, and then he's got a guy in his shadow right behind him. He can move off his left shoulder or right shoulder and pop it to him. They've done that twice in a row. They must see something they like in that.
Josh Whippy, the fullback, gets pile driven.
The crowd's upset because if you pick a guy's legs up above his body, it's a penalty, but the referee didn't see it that way. He is, however, calling, yeah.
There's a certain way to tackle, and that's why there are injuries in rugby, of course. It's violent, but there are fewer than football because you have to tackle a certain way, and this is not one of them. Although it does get the crowd excited, animated.
Yeah, so if they see the legs come up above the waist, that's a little bit dangerous, and they don't like to see that.
Nice job by Maximo Diacheval to catch that ball and keep it in bounds. He dropped it off to himself. That all works.
Even though he goes out of bounds, if the ball stays in bounds and he doesn't have possession, it's just fine.
Davies over to Maggie. Stiff arm is not to Lauti, gets pushed back.
Came back around and got him, though, didn't he?
Maggie will pick it up. Knocking on the door of the 22 now.
There's that pocket runner.
Lots of space on the left side. Brian Wanless is tackled. Maggie will keep it himself.
Oh, he was out of bounds.
Malifa is out of bounds.
All right, referee saw that.
Ata Malifa goes into touch, and it'll be a line out for the Utah Warriors. You can feel the pressure from the Raptors happening. The Warriors have barely possessed the ball in their offensive half of the field this half.
Right. And what they want to do right now is get it kicked out of bounds. They don't want to kick this thing down the middle of the field and let Glendale come on a counterattack. They might take one move to kind of get further into the middle of the field to have a better angle at a clearing kick, but they need to clear this thing and get it out of bounds and start over.
And that was attempted a moment ago, but it wasn't quite into touch.
Exactly.
And Diacheval kept that alive.
Yeah, it needs to get out and let everybody get reset.
And here comes the scrum. The two packs will line up and give it a go. Always some fun banter before this one. As you line up 14 guys in what feels like a 5x5 space. Meters, of course. Ben Nichols, the scrum half from Zimbabwe, will put it in for Utah Warriors. And Nichols will take it himself. Like you said a moment ago, suggests to relieve the pressure with the kick here. Little pick and jam.
They'll do a couple of those maybe to get a better angle on the kick.
See if you can't get it wide, but a lot of resources.
Yeah.
You can put into this.
Play it safe. If they play too long and commit a penalty, they're going to be in big trouble.
And here comes the kick, and it is into touch and well into touch.
He made sure on that one, right?
Absolutely.
You don't need to get it up 40 yards. Let's take 25 or 30 and make sure it's out of bounds.
It went out, but it probably was about 15 meters down, so a little bit of pressure relieved. It'll be a line out, and the backup hooker James Del Bosque will be the guy to throw it in now.
Stolen, wow.
Corey Olson.
Utah just stole a line out. That's the first of the night, I believe, isn't it? Maybe the second.
Lasike.
Okay, 2-on-1. Come on,
2-on-1. Lauti, he's quick. Tackled, but not down, still up. Gets back up. Now he's tackled past the midway mark. Whippy, here's Lance Williams, who scored the try at the end of the first half. Former Hawaii linebacker.
They're still standing
Angus McClellan,
still.
Corey Olson.
Utah's just standing flat, and they're standing still. I'm not sure if that's a...
Olson stood up for a second, but goes down. And Angus McClellan will take the ball one-handed. Born in the Bronx, moved to Florida as a kid.
Played defensive end at Colorado State on the football team, right?
Utah with a little bit of possession. Ball comes out. Knock on Glendale, who stole it, but knocked it on. So Utah with a little bit of possession, which is a better sign for the Warriors, who have been few and far between in terms of possession and offense. The second minute scored a try. Ben Nichols dotted it down to get the scoring going. And then at the end of the half, Lance Williams scored in the 40th minute, extra time, in fact, to make it 21-10 for that second score. And time is paused again as it's like a water break is given. No one too banged up as Glendale in the all-yellow unis. It's the Warriors in the all-black. They'll play in a couple weeks, May 5th as well, again here in Utah. We'll bring that to you. And we appreciate you tuning in for this inaugural broadcast of the Utah Warriors Major League Rugby team. Glendale, established in 2007. They have their own rugby-specific park, Infinity Park. And Glendale is Rugby Town, USA. They branded themselves. They have the backing of the city. It's a well-organized situation. And they're one of the 7 teams in this league of Major League Rugby. Houston SaberCats, NOLA Gold in New Orleans, San Diego Legion, Seattle Seawolves.
What's a Seawolf?
Yes.
What is it?
Uh-huh.
What's a Seawolf?
And the 8th team next year, Rugby United New York, at least 2, maybe 4 others coming up later.
Oh.
Switch, a reverse of field with Paul Lasike. He's got Josh Anderson on the wing.
Stay in.
Anderson cuts it inside. Lasike helps form the ruck. Nichols to Angus McClellan. Little bit static from the Warriors here.
Very static. All night it's been this way. I'm not understanding what we're doing here.
Alex Tucci. He's tackled. Kenny Scott into the game, by the way, as Lance Williams gets pushed after the play.
One of the Utah players entered from the side on that ruck, and that's a penalty, so they took a quick tap, and here they come.
John Quill, who has been fantastic in this one. Glendale past the 10-meter mark. Took a while to
Oh, they're pulling Sean over the
off. Sean Davies.
They grabbed him and pulled him right over the ruck.
I thought he was off his feet, but yeah, he got pulled over.
Not his fault.
So entering from the side again, this time on Utah. So a kick from Will Maggie,
Yeah,
age 26. Played for the Denver Stampede and then went over to Glendale to be a line out coming up. Fun thing about Will Maggie, he says his great-great-aunt Elizabeth was the designer of the original Monopoly board game.
Aunt Lizzie?
That's pretty good.
Design Monopoly.
Yeah.
Wow.
I would think there'd be some money in the family trickle down from that.
Park Place and
Residuals,
Boardwalk.
if you will.
Park Place and Boardwalk, baby. So they know how good their line out is. They get a penalty right in front of the post. They're not going to take a kick, right? They're going to kick the line out. They're going to take a driving maul, more than likely, and then attack from there. Here they come.
Lineouts won and quickly near the try line.
Oh, here comes the counter
But
attack.
possession is lost, and here comes the counter. Utah with it. Anderson wide to Josh Whippy. Whippy is hit hard and taken off his feet by John Ryberg, the winger.
Good body positioning on the ground by Whippy.
That could have been a try easily for Glendale. Instead, Utah gets the ball. Matt Jensen being held up. This almost seems like a strategy from Glendale. This is like the second or third time we've seen this.
Well, yeah, the Utah guys are taking the ball in alone
And
without any support. It's easy to hold them up. It's a great strategy when Utah's only coming with one guy and coming slow.
So there are times where it feels like they're, a maul formed there and was lost, and so Glendale gets the ball. It seems like at times there are too many guys in the ruck, and then not enough. There's kind of an imbalance there at times for the Utah Warriors when it comes to the ruck.
At the end of the first half, when Utah was trying to score, they had a lot of guys committed to the ruck to try and stay safe and maintain possession.
And it worked in that situation.
And it worked, right.
Yeah.
Now, if you're in the middle of the field and you're taking a ball up, you've got to have somebody with you. You can't send a guy alone, and you can't even send one more guy. You got to send a couple with him. And I can't figure out if that's a strategy that's not working or if the guys are maybe not executing the way they want to.
Glendale. Solid tackling by Utah. Corey Olsen with the tackle. Here's Maggie. Malifa. It's a nice run inside the 22. Davies fakes. Takes it himself. Offloads. Another offload. Maximo Diachevo is going to dot it down for his second try of the night, and Glendale tacks on 5 more, 33-10.
Sean was a little magician on that one. He made the first guy miss. Whoop, a little dummy pass. Made the offload in the tackle, and again, out to Maximo. How many tries is that for Maximo?
It's 2.
Second try of the night.
Yeah, and back-to-back. 45th minute, now the 62nd minute.
Wow.
Really good support from Glendale. They've been fantastic in that tonight. It's now 33-10. A bit of a rout on at this point is Utah working out the kinks, getting ready for upcoming matches here in this inaugural one. Guys have been training for a couple of months, and Glendale, a side who has played together for a long time and is showing their clinical precision here. Again, these two teams will they'll play again May 5th, so we'll see how improved Utah Warriors can be between now and then.
It'll look different.
Yeah.
Trust me on this. It's going to look different the next time they play. There's going to be a little bit of different organization defensively, and I think the attack pattern will look slightly, maybe not different, maybe just a little more adjusted, a little more fine-tuned, which is normal, right? Brand new team.
Brand new team.
Haven't been together very long.
Yep, they're figuring it out. Conversion's good. 5 for 5 from Will Maggie. There's a reason he was the Eagles kicker and fly half at the ARC, which the USA won.
Yeah.
As Sean Davies was the scrum half, so you have your 9 and 10 for Glendale on the USA level as well. A bunch of Eagles.
Paul Lasike was on the
both
same
this
team.
sides, yeah. And Josh Whippy, Utah Warrior,
short
as well.
Restart.
So 35-10, 63 minutes and change into this one. Holding on to the ball. Yep, not releasing, so
I've been watching
Jared Whippy will kick into touch for a line out here.
Sorry. I've been watching Paul Lasike as they were, Glendale was getting ready to make their conversion kick. He had the guys rounded up. He was clapping. He was cheering them on. He was encouraging them, and as they walked up for the restart, doing the same thing. Clapping his hands, encouraging them.
Milner O'Reilly is proud to support the Utah Warriors. Milner O'Reilly, immigration specialist, lawyers you can trust. Utah wins the lineout. Lance Williams was the guy in the air. Corey Wilson pushed forward inside the 22. Best possession in terms of deep territory here for Utah in the second half. It's been quiet offensively for the Warriors. They try and get some points on the board. Second minute and 40th minute had some tries. Conversions were no good. Those are the 10 points.
And this is where you were talking about earlier. They'll put a lot of resources into the ruck here to maintain possession, right?
Jared Whippy to Lasike. He offloads it. Went backwards, so still good. Josh Whippy into space. He is tackled as the Warriors try and penetrate the 22.
Do you see how he was heading outside? He had one man outside of him, and instead he stepped on his left foot and cut back inside. That was to come back to his support so they could maintain possession in the tackle. That was a smart play. Well, I'm assuming that's what he did.
It seems sound.
Okay.
Checking in Don Patti. He's going to come into the match for Ben Nichols, so a new scrum half.
He's got
former Utah Ute.
Getting a lot of cheers, too, because he's a local guy. So he's probably got a lot of friends and family. You heard the crowd kind of cheer for him when he came on.
So Glendale, I believe, possessed the ball, didn't release, and now it was a knock-on, so a scrum. As Donpati take the ball himself, offloads.
Great offload.
Afiaki in space. Nice run from Tana Afiaki as the crowd comes to life for a moment. Corey Olsen driven back and then leans forward with that 6'4" frame.
See if we can get somebody running on hard to the ball here.
Jared Whippy, Paul Lasike in space, cuts it back right at the 22-meter line. 35-10, 66 minutes in. Jared Whippy, Josh Anderson with some space.
Oh,
into the try zone.
Get it down, Josh.
And does he dot it down? He does.
Oh.
Josh Anderson with the third try in Utah Warriors history to make it 35-15.
That was nice. They worked the ball through the hands, a couple of nice offloads. Josh Anderson carried that guy over the line for the score. Josh is a big guy for a wing. He's about 6'4", 6'5".
6'5", 210.
Yeah.
Remember, that's almost lock size. Another look.
Brother to brother, and then out to the wing.
Jared and Josh Whippy, Josh Anderson. Those are all BYU guys connecting in the final three possessions. And a nice face. Don Patti comes in. Nice pass to Jared Whippy, Josh Anderson. So a Ute to a Cougar to a Cougar to a Cougar,
Well,
and the Utah Warriors dotted down.
There you go.
That's a local try right there.
Josh Anderson is a Ute and a Cougar. He played his high school rugby at Highland. Then he went to Utah and played football for a season. Then after an LDS mission, came back and finished off his years as a BYU rugby player. So he's been around a little bit. And for a big 6'5", 210-pound guy, he's fast too.
He's very quick on the wing. Absolutely.
Let's see if Jared can make this conversion. He's from the 5 and about 25 meters out.
He's 0 for 2, so looking for that first one. Warrior fly half.
Hold it.
Bends it right.
Yeah.
So 0 for 3 in conversions. Glendale 5 for 5. That's a big difference. That's 15 points in a 20-point game right
That's
there.
exactly right.
So I can do math as we go, apparently.
We're going to send somebody to practice this week for a little kicking instruction.
Catch more action or bring a friend to the next Warriors game. Utah Warriors individual group and season tickets can be bought at www.warriorsrugby.com. For questions, email tickets@warriorsrugby.com. So a little bit of life.
Fresh legs.
To this Warriors squad after the first try in 26 minutes. Here in the second half, some fresh legs. Don Patti running the show at scrum half now. Paul Lasike goes way wide.
That's a nice move to come back in from the sideline and keep the ball alive. I like that. Oh, that's a high tackle.
Yeah, high
Referee's
tackle.
got
It looks like the forearm shiver almost.
That was easy for everybody to see, and that's not malicious. I mean, sometimes the runner goes low, and, well, maybe.
Winnie Elkington,
He's
the one down.
Still down.
And a yellow card was given, I believe, to the high tackler. And he's making sure that everything's okay.
Yeah, he's being friendly about it, so that's.
And so a yellow card, 15 on 14, maybe an opportunity.
Who is it that's coming off? I can't. We'll have to see his number when he comes around.
And Winnie Elkington, they're making sure he's okay. And into the sin bin goes a Raptor. We'll ID the person in just a moment. So Jared Whippy will try and gain some territory.
8-man.
And it's Peter Dahl, the 6'2" Kiwi.
So that could make a difference in the scrum. You know, he's at the back. He's kind of controlling the ball as it comes out the back. He's also got a good push. Hopefully that 7-on-8 scrum will be in Utah's favor. Well, hopefully for Utah.
35-15. 10 minutes to go. Nice fake by Corey Olsen to keep it.
Utah backs have got a nice steep
dummy
line all the way out. There's a little pocket runner.
Was that knocked on?
No, it
was
went
not.
back.
That's Iniki Fa'almausili with the red undershirt. Easy to ID. Patti, Jared Whippy inside to his twin brother Josh Whippy. Offloaded to Matt Jensen, who's played for Team USA, former All-American. Tap and go quickly. Don Patti churning up some territory. Offloads it.
Nice pickup.
Tana Afiaki.
Nice offload.
Matt Jensen. And the ball is conceded to Glendale. And here they go, Maximo Diachival. And a kick to no one in particular, trying to get in it. The perfect bounce. It comes back to Nick Johnson, a sub off the bench. Well-played kick that got the perfect bounce backwards. And all that territory lost for Utah.
While they're playing, Jared Whippy's on the ground with a cramp.
Maggie goes way wide.
Oh, no.
Harley Davidson still up. And another knock-on.
That's the 4th knock-on for Glendale in this half. 1 for Utah. Those 4 knock-ons are pretty costly, right? I mean,
I dare say it's keeping it within 20-ish, right? If they don't knock it on there.
I think that's keeping it closer.
Yeah,
exactly.
Close-ish as the Warriors.
And 2 of those,
get some
2 or 3 of those knock-ons were down deep. I mean,
right. We're talking inside the 22
Yeah.
knock-ons, which are very costly.
I mean, that's like coming
in
down
football
to
red zone penalties, if you will.
A turnover in the red zone.
Yeah.
You're like, oh man, how'd we get to the 20 and give it away?
So scrum coming up for the Utah Warriors, who play Ottawa next Friday. Next up for Glendale, they'll be at New York Athletic Club, April 7th, next week. They'll go all the way out there. So time called for the moment. 71:55 on the clock. And the ref saying, all right, let's do this. About 8 minutes to go here in this one. See if the Warriors can tack on a few more points. Had 2 tries in the first, 1 here in the second half. Raptors with 2 tries in the second half.
Let's see if they can get out of trouble here in their own.
Wheels around, and ball is out. Utah with possession. Donpati waiting a moment. Lasike. That one knocked forward. And a knock on. Granted to Glendale. Get the ball
Referee
back.
saying there's a knock on both directions, and we'll take the first one, award the ball to Glendale. That's a middle scrum, 15 meters from the goal line. That's a dangerous place to be. And now, if you're a Glendale player, you're licking your chops. I mean, this is exactly what you want to see, exactly where you want to be. They've repped this a million times. They know what they're going to do. It's going to be probably a well-worked play right now.
Now, Utah was on skates at the beginning in the scrum. I think they've done a better job. I don't know if it's where they want to be, but it's been a little better as the game's gone on.
No, I mean, it looks like their body positioning has gotten a little bit lower, and they said, okay, look, we're done getting pushed around. We've got to shore this up somehow. I don't know if they're tightening it up or if they're just getting better body position. Right now, Glendale's got one less guy, so they ought to be able to hold their own on this one.
Peter Dahl still in the sin bin for a couple more minutes. As you see the wave happening in this crowd at the inaugural game for the Utah Warriors here at Rio Tinto Stadium. Again, Utah plays Ottawa next Friday. Ball's out. Maggie's going to take it himself. Will Maggie with a couple of dummies, but he's no dummy. He gets the try, throws it into the wall in excitement.
Yeah, it was nice.
And Glendale tacks on 5 more, 40-15.
He showed that dummy pass, and the Utah guy bit on it really hard, just waltzed in. He's a great player. No wonder he's playing for the Eagles.
Will Maggie, who's been fantastic with his legs, kicking, and now dances his way into the end zone. A few nice moves here in the open field. 1, 2, and a trip attempt.
Yeah, I think the referee saw that too. I think the side judge went in and talked to the referee about that, and I'm not sure what they're going to do. If that'll be something brought up and penalized eventually, I'm not sure.
So let's see if Will Maggie can be perfect on the conversions. 5 for 5 so far as Glendale is up 40-15.
Looks like Sean Davies
will come out.
Yeah.
The scrum half, 5'8", 175 from Durban, South Africa. Attended BYU, master's degree from Life, age 28.
You know, he was a big difference in this game so far. I mean, we're about done, but the way he gets the ball off the back of that ruck and the recycle after tackles is really nice to see. It's something that all the scrum halves in the league are going to want to emulate. He's there quickly, the ball's out quickly, makes a huge difference.
6 for 6 on the conversions. And the Raptors with a clean 42. If you're used to football, you like the 7.
Yep.
Yep, there you go. The 7.
So they're 7 for
6
7
tries,
on
yep.
conversions, and the Warriors are 0 for on conversions. That's right.
Yeah, 0 for 3. Yeah. Could have got you up to 21. At this point, it'd be half that mark. So Utah trying to make something happen in the last couple of minutes. Done Patti, the 10-meter line. Ray Forrester, the backup hooker, in for Lote Tuipulotu, drives it forward. Lance Williams will take it. A stiff arm and tackled by John Quill. Glendale flanker. They play 80 minutes, so coming up on 4 minutes left here in the game.
Let's see if they
Micah
can
Hafoka.
put together one last surge here. Oh, right on cue. They give up a penalty. That's unfortunate.
Not releasing. They got to let go of the ball. It'd be nice to get one more try. Call it a 4-try day. Take the loss, but try and improve. As Utah has an exciting schedule coming up. Mentioned it a couple of times. May 5th, these two sides will meet again in the 7-team Major League Rugby. Austin Elite. These two teams, Houston SaberCats, NOLA Gold out of New Orleans, San Diego Legion, and the Seattle Seawolves are the 7 teams. After the regular season, they'll play 2 semifinals and then a championship game. You can catch games throughout the season. A game of the week on CBS Sports Network, which is a big deal.
It's a really big deal.
And then over the top on the ESPN app. And we'll have coverage for you throughout the season. Follow the Warriors on Facebook and Twitter to get the latest with the Utah Warriors. 3 minutes to go, 42-15 as the Glendale Raptors have the ball in hand. They're trying to tack on another try here.
Harley Davidson runs so hard out on that wing, doesn't he?
And he's been in the entire game.
Yeah.
Hasn't come out. One of the few guys that hasn't been subbed down.
It takes a couple guys to get him down. He's a tough runner.
Brian Wanless with a run there. Maggie to Luke White. Deacheval, who scored 2 of the last 3 tries. With it in hand, John Quill churning his way toward the top of that soccer box outline that you can see. White was hit hard.
That was a great pass while he was in contact.
Maggie, less support on the right, and then
Here they
picked
come.
up. Here's a chance. It's Fa'a Mausili as Utah takes the ball with 2 minutes to go. Ruck forms 5 meters away from the touchline. Here's Whippy. Kenny Scott. Scott's taken down now. Alex Tucci helping with the ruck. Nice run from Lance Williams. Whippy. Olsen. On Patti. Jared Whippy finds a crease. Approaching the final minute here. Kenny Scott out of Kansas. On Patti, looking for some guys. No one wants to take it. Paul Lasike offloads to Lance Williams, former linebacker.
Oh, they poached it.
And Glendale got it back. Hey, get over $50 worth of free swag and supplements at FitCon, Utah's largest fitness expo with hundreds of exhibitors, competitions, celebrity guests, ninja courses, and more. See more details at fitcon.com. Utah held on to the ball, so Glendale will get it back, and they'll take their sweet time up 42-15 in this first game for the Utah Warriors.
The coaching staff of Rob Randall and Mark Numbers and Alf Daniels are going to watch this film, and they're going to break it down.
Now they
position by
have
position.
film.
Now they have film.
They didn't have anything. Now they have something.
Yeah, they're going to break this thing down, and they're going to make massive improvements. They're going to make a lot of stride.
Absolutely.
From game 1 to game 2, I'll bet that's going to be the biggest improvement of the season, right?
Absolutely. Knock on from Lance Williams.
Yeah, this is a great staff. They know exactly what they're doing, exactly what they want to do, and the players are going to Is that it?
And that's it. That'll do it. 80 minutes in the books, and the first game for the Utah Warriors has finished in front of a really nice crowd here at Rio Tinto Stadium. Final score 42-15. Like you just said, some film for Utah to work on. Glendale, clinical in their precision tonight. Had a few knock-ons in the second half. Otherwise, this score might be a little bit larger of a margin, but Utah showed some nice progress later in the second half. A 3-try night, trying to work on those conversions.
Yep.
0 for 3 tonight. A couple of yellow cards in the first half, none in the second half, but you see these two squads interact, and both these teams excited to be on the pitch together. Major League Rugby, they just took part in the first Major League Rugby game in the history of the state of Utah, which is a really big deal for both teams.
That's true.
Next game, Ottawa Arrows out of Canada in town next Friday, 7 p.m. Mountain Time. We'll bring that to you. Follow the Warriors on Facebook and Twitter for all broadcast details, tickets, other information about the team. See a couple of tries here for Utah tonight. Ben Nichols got going in the second minute. Lance Williams, this was at the end of the half. 40th minute, the former Hawaii linebacker got into the try zone, and that was a joyous moment for the Warriors. And then later, and we see Lance Williams, he wanted the ball here. The former linebacker, he's like, I'm on offense now, let's go.
Yeah, I won't be denied. Not this close.
The all-time leading tackler at Hawaii, so a guy that is in his element here, and you see very excited. Then later, this in the 66th minute, second half, the Whippy brothers combine, get it out wide to Josh Anderson, and he dots it down for the try. This was nice from the Utah Warriors.
Yeah, there were a lot of nice things to build on. I think the talent level is there for the Warriors. Here's another angle of that try. You see a nice offload, a one-handed offload, yep, right there. And then Josh drags Maximo over the line. Yeah, he got it down right before he went out the back, didn't he?
Yeah, he nearly went out of bounds. As you see some of the youngsters looking to get their rugby ball signed by the Utah Warriors and the Glendale Raptors.
Those were my nephews.
Those were your nephews?
Those were my nephews.
You couldn't just get them the autographs already?
Well, see if we can figure that out. There they are. Cole and Dane and little Matthew. Those are my nephews right there.
Fantastic. Great crowd here tonight at Rio Tinto, home of Real Salt Lake in Major League Soccer. As Glendale gets the win, they're 2-0, and Utah in their first game go down 0-1, but they have some film and have some things to work on, and they'll continue to improve. I really like the talent that Utah has. They're bringing in some other guys too. All-time leading scorer and try scorers from Tonga will be in the mix. More internationals, and you saw the flavor and the expansive rugby at times working on that game. But Utah's got some talent. Glendale very clinical, as we talked about. I think we saw what we expected from them, and we expect a great improvement from Utah.
Yeah, let's bottom line this thing. Bottom line is Utah's got a pro rugby team. Utah's got a good coaching staff. They've got great talent. They've got a big fan support. Beautiful place to play. That's the bottom line. I'm excited for this thing.
And a chance to watch the matches throughout the season.
That's
We'll
right.
bring that to you throughout this season. Thanks for hanging out with us tonight as Glendale defeats Utah 42-15 for the inaugural game for the Utah Warriors. It was a fun one. For everyone on our crew behind the scenes, Justin Nadald, I'm Jerem Jordan. Thanks for watching the first ever game of the Utah Warriors.